Okay, today we're going to be looking at one of the granddaddies of classic rock radio, The Who's Won't Get Fooled Again, which is basically a masterclass in the power chord, courtesy of Pete Townshend. If you like what you learn here today, check out my other Who lessons, which include Love Ain't for Keeping, from Who's Next, the Live at Leeds version of Summertime Blues, and a couple from Tommy, Sparks and See Me, Feel Me. In all of those, I break down the rhythm and leads, which is what I'm going to do for you today here. The chord structure is pretty simple, but like with most Pete Townshend stuff, it's deceptive. He can do more with a first position G, D, and A chord than virtually anyone on the planet. We do have basically every major chord other than an F. We have an A, we have a B, we have a C, we have a D, we have an E. We do not have an F, but we have a G. Now, note that Pete is playing mainly power chords. If you don't know what a power chord is, you're playing the root and the fifth of the major triad. So for example, with the G chord, Pete is going to play it like this, muting that B note on the fifth string, and on the second string, instead of playing an open B, he's playing a D note there, which again is the fifth. So you have 1, 5, 1, 5, 1. And when he plays an A chord, you got to play it with one finger. Don't be doing this. Okay, you might have learned that way, and if your goal is to sit around the fire pit strumming Home on the Range, that's fine. But if you want to play rock and roll, this, okay? The Pete Townshend extension is barring those first two strings at the 5th fret, which gives you again A, E, A, root 5th, root 5th, root. Power chord. So on the recording, Pete's doing this a lot. There are 2 live versions here on YouTube of The Who, and I notice he doesn't do that live. He just plays the A here. Maybe he just gets lazy live. I don't know. But on the record, there's a lot of that, okay? And there's a lot of playing that G chord without anything on the lower strings. Just playing the 3rd fret on the 1st and 2nd string, and then really mainly playing 4-3-2 for the D chord. Okay, so there's a lot to cover, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the chord progression. You can get that anywhere. I am referring to Who tabs, WHOTABS, so Google that, Who tabs, and you'll come up with the tab for this song. So the song does launch with bending that 6th string 3rd fret, and he does that also during the verses between the, to transition to the E major chord. So just know that you've got that note there to work off of. And then in the verse, things don't really get interesting fill-wise. And when you get to the pick up my guitar and play, which is G to E, he goes. So what do you got there? G to E, we've got an E shape A chord there, 2 notes out of that on the 4th and 2nd string, 9th fret. Coming down to 6 and 5, what's that? That's 2 notes out of your C shape of an E chord. So he's basically going from E chord to E chord with that little passing notes there on the 7th fret. So 9, 9, 7, 7, 6, 5, and then he goes. And similarly there, you've got 2 notes out of a G chord of an A shape. So again, if we're going pick up my guitar and play G to E, he's playing notes out of G and E chord, sus4, and then bend that C note at the 3rd fret, get fooled again. Now, some of these interlude riffs are really interesting. So we have that's a really cool one. So we're just riffing off the A chord. Going from G to D, so A, G, D, right? Compare that to what he does at the very end of the song. This shows you the brilliance and again the deceptiveness of Pete. He goes, at the end of the song, he goes, same exact notes with a different rhythm, gives a whole new flavor. Versus so that's one of the types of things he does in the interlude riffs and in the finale. So the other is with the A5 chord. This is kind of the Keith Richards thing, right? 1 to 4, he's going from an A chord to a D chord, putting down your 3rd fret, 2nd string, 4th fret, 4th string. And he's just kind of like lifting up a little bit on that index finger. And other times he goes. So just know that you've got those two interlude-y, I'm calling those the interlude-y licks. And then and of course again those are the ones that he does back to back essentially at the conclusion of the song. We're jumping ahead a little bit. Okay, in the second verse, when he gets to the pick up my guitar and play, he goes, that's an E minor / G major pentatonic lick at the 12th fret. You're bending the 14th fret 3rd string and release. Just a slight bend. Release to 12 and then play 14 on the 4th string and then 12, 12 on the 3rd string, 14 on the 4th string. And then he goes back to that harmonized 6th lick out of a G chord, right? Because we're going pick up my guitar. 12th fret, 2nd and 4th strings, and then he does a classic rock bend there. 1st string 12th fret, 2nd string 15th fret, giving that 15th fret a half step wiggle, like that. Classic Townshend move there with the D, sus4, D, then what that is the top 3 notes of your G chord, then you lay down the ring and pinky on the 5th fret and 3rd and 1st strings. What you're coming up with is a D7 chord. So won't get fooled again. then the third verse where he gets to the take up my guitar and play, he just walks down the E minor / G major pentatonic scale at the 12th fret. 12, 15, 12, 14, 12, 14, 12. And then that thing again. And then get on my knees and pray. He does this cool thing over the D that's sort of like Sparks. So you really have to bar the 2nd fret. I do anyway to do that well. So you've got your D chord, sus4, back to D, sus4, 5. Your A note at the 5th fret, which also happens to be the 5 of the chord. And then won't get fooled again. Okay, then we get to the move myself and my family aside. A little 2 to 4 on the 5th and 4th string to get to the E chord. If we happen to be left half alive, get on my papers and smile at this guy, because I know that the hypnotized never lie. That's one of the best, I think, and it's so simple. It's just B, A, E, power chords, hit the B, mute a little bit, A, E, B, mute, A, E. And that takes you into the solo. So he's over a B. So he comes up to your first position B pentatonic box there at the 7th fret and goes. That was messy, and Pete is messy. Is messy, so I'm going to leave that in. Bar 2nd and 3rd string at the 7th fret. Give it a little wiggle. Land on the 4th string, 9th fret. And then bend the 9th fret, 3rd string. Release to 7, and then he does this sort of walk down, double stop thing. But he does it. The picking that only Pete can do, so I can't do it, but he... So you're holding your first finger on the 7th fret, 1st string. You're going 10, 9, 7 on the 2nd string, and then 7, 3rd string, 9, 4th string. And then he does a similar bend up here, 14, 13, with 12 held down. They're the same notes, B note, B note. And then it gets a little messy, and then he... That one's cool. You've got a B chord, right? So you're playing 2 notes out of a B chord on the 4th and 2nd string on the 4th fret. 3, 2, 1, landing on an E chord. Play the 1st string open. And then Daltrey screams, right? So. And And there's some other kind of chaos, wankery, like that, and then so what is that? So just to pull off, it's one of those licks that's incredibly easy but sounds cool. Second fret, third string, and then he's over A at that point. He's A minor pentatonic box, barring 4 and 3. The coolest one is that wailing lick. He returns to that twice. And this is a classic blues lick. This is part of your A minor shape, the octave of it, 12, 13 on 1 and 2, and you're just wiggling that second string up so it's teasing between the minor third and the major third in the key of A. So there's just a lot of chaos going into that. Then you have the synthesizer thing, come out of that. Heading for the home stretch, you have that thing I showed you earlier, which is and then that last lick is, I think, the hardest one to get just like Pete. The timing of the way he lifts up that finger is one of the most challenging things, of many challenging things in the song, as you have just witnessed. So that was a lot today, and I hope you picked up some things. I would encourage you to look at the Who tabs. I'd encourage you to watch the people doing playthroughs. I didn't want to take 8 more minutes in this lesson to do a playthrough. So check out those other playthroughs on here and enjoy this. It's a classic. Thank you as always for joining me. See you next time.